questions, concerns?
Kevin here, as long as he follows the.
Just one moment, Counselor. One moment, Counselor Campbell. We're just getting you on mic.
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Okay, I approve of it as long as he follows the recommendation of the board there that said no welding or anything, that's all. Thanks.
So, all those in favor? Counselor Campbell, yes. All in favor except one abstention.
I actually think that's an incorrect point of order. I think that because we're in I'm allowed to vote on all of these. So, okay.
So you're in favor?
Yeah, I'm in favor of that.
I move that corporate services standing committee minutes from April 9th, 2024 be adopted as presented.
I'll second that.
Any questions? All in favor?
Yes, Kevin.
Passed unanimously.
I move that the 2024 mill rate bylaw at 1058 be forwarded to the regular meeting of council on April 16, 2024, the first and second reading.
I'll second.
Any questions? All in favor? Counselor Campbell?
Yes.
Motion carried. All in favor?
I move that council approve the operation and maintenance funding contributions agreement with MACA for the fiscal period of April 2024, May 2024, and June 2024 with a total funding amount of $565,750.
I'll second that.
Any questions? All in favor? Oh, sorry, Mayor Daniels?
Yeah, just from last year's numbers to this year's numbers, has there been a fall in? Are we shortfall somewhere in this one, or is it just last year's numbers again?
SAO?
Unfortunately, right now, we only have a 3-month contract due to the territorial budget hasn't been set yet, so this is only a contribution agreement for 3 months. So we don't actually know the full year's allocation at this time. And that'll be the same for the next one as well.
Any other comments, questions? All in favor?
Yes, Kevin.
All in favor, passed unanimously.
I move that council approves the water and sewer subsidy funding contributions agreement with MACA for the fiscal period of April 2024, May 2024, and June 2024 with a total funding amount of $151,500.
I'll second that.
Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Kevin, yes.
Passed unanimously.
I move that the Community Services Standing Committee minutes from April 9th, 2024 be adopted as presented.
I'll second.
Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Kevin, yes.
Passed unanimously.
I move that Ken Reed be appointed to the Economic Development Advisory Board for a 2-year term ending December 31st, 2025.
I'll second.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Kevin, yes.
Passed unanimously.
I move that Mike Kaiser, Helena Katz, and Kevin Antoniak be reappointed to the Economic Development Advisory Board for a 2-year term ending December 31st, 2025.
I'll second that.
Any questions or comments? I believe there is an error in the backer about spelling of Kevin Antoniak. It should have a K at the end. Any other, sorry, all in favor? Counselor Campbell?
Yes.
Passed unanimously.
I move that administration prepare a briefing note on the cost and timeline of a full assessment of the pool's mechanical structure within a 2-week period.
I'll second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Kevin, yes.
Passed unanimously.
I move that the Municipal Services Standing Committee minutes from April 9th, 2024 be adopted as presented.
I'll second that.
Any questions? SEL?
I just felt like this appropriate time to give quick business arising from the minutes of that Lawn Pool update, just a really quick update at this point. We're waiting for the pool temperature to come up. At last check, it still needs a minimal 26.6. It's at 21.9 right now for a few more days. And then the chemistry will need to be adjusted. Chlorine is now at 9 parts per million. And it will reduce in a few days. The pool liner also needs to be vacuumed. We can give you an updated estimated time when the temperature gets closer to optimal. But it is filled and it is operational. It's just coming up to meet all of our requirements right now. So,
What was the issue?
it was a broken pipe. I can actually send out pictures. Sorry, I got that on Sunday. It was a broken pipe that was found that the companies had come apart.
Thank you for the good news. Any other questions, Mayor Daniels?
Yeah, when it comes to the pool and that and other places, do we have someone that comes in that actually inspects it, like your plumbing, your gaskets, everything in there ready for the season in the winter, or how do we work that maintenance on it?
SEL?
I can get back to you that one.
Sorry.
Okay, back to the vote on Municipal Services Standing Committee. All in favor?
Yes, Kevin.
Passed unanimously. Before we get into this, it's the mill rate. We're getting new numbers from our SAO, so the bylaw doesn't have the numbers attached to it. We have to make that decision.
Yes, as per discussion during the Corporate Services Committee meeting, council requested that we come back with some various scenarios offering discussion and options around that. So the bylaw was presented within it without those numbers in it. Once council chooses which scenario they wish to proceed with, we will add those in. It was just decided it was a lot better than presenting you with 4 different bylaws. Do you want me to go right into the briefing note? Okay, so at council's request, we prepared a few different scenarios in regards to the weighting of the 2.58 increase in the mill rate. So you'll notice that we presented the original one that was presented last week was scenario 3. which showed where it was spread out over, it had an impact on all classes. Council had requested to take a look, so scenario number 1 shows with no mill rate increase for residential developed, our country residential developed properties. There was slight increase in mill rates for residential non-developed and country residential non-developed, with the majority of the weighting put onto institutional as per request. So that was scenario number 1, and you've seen 3. Scenario number 2 showed no mill rate increase for residential developed properties. However, there'll be a slight increase in the mill rate for residential non-developed. And again, the heaviest weighting was on institutional undeveloped and developed. And then finally, the 4th scenario shows that we utilize the same weighting that was in the 2023 mill rate bylaw, with just the 2.58, sorry, I just lost my number here, 2.58% increase.
Thank you, SAO. Do we have the proposal for scenario to be chosen?
I don't know how to, Kevin here.
One moment, Councilor Campbell, put you on speaker.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, if we go with scenario 3 where we residential developed doesn't get charged anything, but I would like to see more onto the residential non-developed, the commercial non-developed. I want to see those ones get hit higher for taxes to make them develop them or to sell them or to do something with their lots. And let's keep the residential, we keep the residential down to 1% or 0, better, but that's what I would be happy with. Thanks.
Councilor Ferguson?
Thank you. So, scenario number 1, that is the one that for, it increases, no increase to the residential developed or countryside residential, and just for non-developed and institutional is where it's all weighted on,
And commercial.
and commercial. That's probably the scenario that looks the best if you're not gonna go with where it's spread out amongst everyone. Yeah. It's 3 or 1.
Councilor Beaver?
Looking at it, I would most likely lean towards scenario 1 with 3 being an acceptable alternative. I agree with Councillor Campbell that the initial intent was for this increase of 2.58% be heavily weighted to institutional, but we also had to look at the undeveloped mill rates as well, as trying to provide some form of incentive for those properties to be considered for actual development. If they remain at a lower rate, there's no, I see no particular reason why the current owners are not going to continue to sit on the properties. They realize that they're going to continually go up, and hopefully they will actually make an investment in our community and start developing those lots. And that's what I think it is. It's an investment, a way to encourage investment in our community to make it a better community. And once those properties are developed, they will actually start generating a good tax revenue as a developed residential lot.
Any other feedback? Can we have a motion put forward? Oh, sorry, agendas?
Yeah, I'm just looking at it, I'm looking at probably number 3. I'm also looking at residential taxes, probably 1%, 1.2 maybe. Because I don't want to get us into trouble again where, we're not paying taxes again. And if you look at our books, we are so much in the hole with our infrastructure and replacing it. And I'm sorry, it's, you know, when the time was right before, they all looked good, nobody paid taxes. But look where it really got us. It's this council that has to basically try to bail out the town on infrastructure. And I'm sorry, it doesn't come cheap. And I hate to be the bad guy here, but, you know, we do need money to fix our infrastructure that we're good for 40 years. Right now, that's the crucialest thing is our infrastructure, to give people what they want. And I'm sorry, you can't do that. You know, the government doesn't have any more money anymore. Federal doesn't, territorial doesn't. We got to work within budget. And, you know, I don't see a 1% tax for residential that bad actually. But yes, lean on more on the ones that are undeveloped. Yes, I'm more behind that, but we're just no taxes. No, I'm kind of leery of getting back into that again. Because they want to get caught up there, and then we still need to put some in reserve. I'm sorry, it's just the way I see it.
Councilor Ferguson.
Thank you. I move that council approves the 2024 mill rate bylaw scenario number 1.
Any seconder?
Kevin here. Okay,
Go ahead, Councilor Campbell.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion, comments, questions? Councilor Cougat.
Using the rationale of weighting towards industrial and undeveloped, scenario 3 does that more practically than scenario 1. If you look at the residential undeveloped, we're proposing a new mill rate of 14.58, whereas under scenario 1, it's 14.27. So, the only other major difference between scenarios 3 and 1 is that there is a slight increase in the residential and commercial rates for development. So I would like to go with scenario 3 from a financial perspective, but majority council will feel more inclined with scenario 1. I won't oppose.
We have a motion for scenario 1, but SAO.
I just want to point out that the ultimate revenue generated is the same for either scenario, it's just where the impacts are weighted. Just to give council a little bit, we have a very heavy residential sector. We have 62 basically % of our taxes or of our base is residential, and industrial is only, I'm just trying to find, sorry, where industrial development is only 14.9%. So it is a very heavy weighting towards industrial. And just please note that industrial also includes the churches. So there is that aspect. There is that aspect, but the revenue generated is the same for either scenario. It's just who pays it the most. So I just don't want that to get lost.
Okay.
Councilor Cougat.
Just seeking a clarification. You mentioned industrial, and all our discussions.
I meant to say institutional, my apologies.
Thank you.
My apologies.
Thank you for the clarification.
All right.
It's institutional.
Do we have a seconder?
Kevin did second it.
Oh, Kevin, okay. Sorry. Any other comments or questions? Apologies. Councilor Ferguson.
Thank you, Chair. I like what Mike's thinking about in regards to the scenario 3, but I like how it's weighted heavier on the industrial, or I mean institutional. Sorry, I started that. I like how it's weighted against that for undeveloped institutional where it's being placed. And I know that like we have a majority of our revenue, or tax revenue, comes from residential. So I think this would, take that off of increasing it towards them, right, and putting it on anyone who's the undeveloped institutional specifically.
it to the question, to the vote, all in favor of scenario 1? 1, 2, 3,
Kevin, yes.
5. We have 5 and 6 in favor. Those opposed? Abstention? Mayor Daniels, how are you voting?
I'll vote for this, I'll vote with you guys on this. It was just my opinion that looking at our bills, we need more money and gotta come from somewhere, so I have to be glad there. But I will vote with you.
Motion is passed unanimously. Thank you. If I could have somebody read the bylaw.
With the numbers?
All right, I get the last one here. I move that bylaw 1058, 2024, mill rate bylaw be introduced and given first reading. A bylaw of the municipality corporation of the town of Fort Smith in the Northwest Territories to provide for the establishment of a municipal and educational mill rate passed pursuant to section 76 of the Property Assessment and Taxation Act, being chapter P10 of the revised statutes of the Northwest Territories 1988. Whereas Council of the Municipal Corporation of the Town of Fort Smith in the Northwest Territories deems it to be in the public interest and is required by provision of the Property Assessment and Taxation Act to establish mill rates for the municipal school purposes, and therefore the Council of the Town of Fort Smith at a duly assembled meeting enacts as follows: that this bylaw may be cited as the 2024 mill rate bylaw. That the excess property of the Town of Fort Smith liable to taxation in respect of which grants in lieu of taxes may be paid shall be liable for taxation and grants in lieu of taxes as follows. Residential development, 13.87. Residential undeveloped, 14.27. Commercial, 26.31. Commercial undeveloped, 27.90. Industrial, 26.32. Industrial undeveloped, 28.22. Institutional, 36.03. Institutional undeveloped, 37.63. Recreation, 15.94. Telecommunications, 35.39. Country residential, 12.33. Country undeveloped, 12.40. Country mixed, 14.35. That the rate of the taxation be applied to lands and improvements liable to taxation, or in respect of which grants in lieu may be paid for school purposes shall follow as for the year 2024. School levy, 2.86.
I'll second that.
Thank you for that, Councillor Couperet. Any comments or questions? Mayor Daniels.
Yeah, for those undeveloped in industrial or whatever, are those numbers, do we have to work with those numbers or could we raise them?
Yes, I do.
We have to work with those numbers. The mill rate was set, or the number was set, it's just the weighting that is just being decided.
And that's territorial government that decides those?
Question, all in favor?
Kevin, yes.
Mayor Daniels?
Yes, but next time when we get to this point, can we have that board meet with council first to work out the numbers? So we just don't have to take the call. Because I think some of those numbers are kind of low actually. Like you got 14 point some, they should actually be higher. You got 27 there, they should actually be close to 30 mark. Perhaps next year, well, if we get in, we can look at it, I guess.
Thank you for your comments, Mayor Daniels, but we did set the mill rate and this is dealt with at a prescribed amount, so. Motion is passed unanimously.
I move that bylaw 1058/2024 mill rate bylaw be given second reading by title only.
I'll second that.
Any questions? All in favor?
Kevin, yes.
Passed unanimously.
I move that council by motion identify 1 to 3 individuals to be a member of the Emergency Management Committee and obtain the required training identified.
Seconder?
I'll second that.
Seconder, who seconded this night?
Seconded by Councillor Couvret. Any comments or questions? Volunteers?
Kevin will volunteer.
Councillor Campbell has volunteered. Councillor Ferguson volunteered. And I'll have the SAO speak to this, please.
Oh, sorry, no, I'm on the wrong one. I absolutely apologize. I was on the, I was looking at, this is good CPI, funding in front of me, but I've got the Emergency Management Committee in the wording. Sorry about that. I am missing a page. Just a reminder, so this requires that, sorry, I was off, that's my fault, I apologize. So our emergency management plan outlines the requirement composition of the local emergency management organization, and which contained is our emergency management committee, which is made up of the mayor of the alternate's deputy mayor, as well as 1 to 2 councillors, plus the SAO, plus various members of staff. One of the requirements, or one of the asks to do this is to obtain training. So is to get the 100, and then as well to participate in at least the 200, preferably the 200 to 300 level training. I've secured the week of June 10th for this training. And it will be a full week, plus the 6th day will be a half day for a tabletop exercise. So you can actually action it and practice it. And this was all identified within the After Action report as something that would be really, really beneficial for the community to understand, as well as everybody having the ICS 100 within the whole organization. So I just want to ensure that anyways coming forward on the committee is willing to commit to at least obtaining the 200 level of training, or 100 and 200 level of training, so that we're all having the same conversation, using the same language, and understand delegation of powers. Thank you.
So with that, councillors Ferguson and Campbell, would you be able to do that? Yes?
Yes.
Mayor Daniels?
Could the mayor just step down from this because of health hazards? I mean, last time if I didn't go, I would have been dead, so. And I ended up on my deathbed, so because of health reasons, I don't think I'd probably just be in the road, to be honest.
Well, you can make this, oh, sorry.
Councillor Ferguson first.
I might be saying, thank you, Chair. It's not just about fires. Like, this is an emergency response. You're part of an organization
Okay.
that isn't just about fires. It's about all, like, our emergency, like what we're going to do in the case of any emergency, right? So it's not specific to our response to a fire.
Yeah, I probably should learn that then. And just last time when I was there, I relieved myself and I let Adam take over because he had more experience than I did, and I've never fought fire in my life, so that was time to go out and put him in charge, so, and that's what I did. Thanks.
Did you have anything further to say?
No, I feel like being our Councillor Ferguson actually addressed that.
So we have Mayor Daniels, Deputy Mayor Kroll, Dana, Councillor Ferguson, and Councillor Campbell, and any other comments or questions? I'm not available the week of June 10th, just so you know. in favor?
Was there a motion?
All in favor?
Kevin, yes.
Do we have any appointments? I believe so. Updates. We'll start with Councilor Tucker.
Okay, Deputy Mayor, the board that I'm on did not meet in the last month, so I have nothing to report there. However, I'd like to give condolences to the Terry Schott family, Don Hurt family, and Don Matthews Senior family, passing of loved ones, and thoughts and prayers are with all the families involved. Thank you.
Thank you. I too would like to extend my condolences to all those families experiencing grief right now with loss of loved ones. I'd just like to remind folks that with the melting snow and the warmer weather and the sun being out as long as it is, there's going to be more people on the roads, and there's going to be kids riding bikes and people walking streets and everyone out there. And it's pretty slippery still with the gravel on the road. Just I've been out there biking and walking. So just be mindful, slow down, and make sure you're not speeding through crosswalks because everyone's trying to get out there and enjoy the sunshine. Thanks.
Councilor Campbell?
Mr. Campbell here, Kevin, Councilor
Oh,
Campbell.
you're
Yes, I want to give my condolences to all the families that have lost loved ones. And basically saying that Councilor Person said, oh, be careful of all people that riding bikes, walking, and everything on the streets, and let's enjoy our springtime before the fires start. Thanks.
Thank you. Don't have much to add other than I'd like to extend my condolences to people that have lost loved ones over the past while and join in the grieving of the losses.
Thank you. I too would like to send my condolences to the families that have lost loved ones. Our thoughts and prayers are with you through the difficult time. And also just as Councilor Ferguson had mentioned about the gravel on the road and being slippery biking, and I was just wondering when the sweeping was going to start. Thank you.
I too would like to send my condolences to all the families that have had loved ones pass just recently. And just to be aware of everybody out on the streets and stuff with the gravel and that. And also the people that are out hiking, biking, sightseeing, quadding, side by side, still be aware that if you see suspicious displays of things out of place and that out there, we still have missing Frank Rubin. It's going on 1 year. Just be aware, and if anything is seen or heard, can you report to the RCMP or the local officials? Thank you.
I too would like to pass on my condolences to the Burke, Shaw, Heron, and Matthews families, as well as the family of Mike Walser, who is a resident of Northern Heights. Hats off to the staff and to my fellow councilors for helping with everything for the last month. A reminder about the trade show happening next Saturday, the 28th, at the rec center. There's lots of, I think it's sold out. It has some pretty neat stuff. There's 3 booths for the town. There's one for our community zoning bylaw. There's one for the library, and there's one with chats with the mayor and council. And just another reminder of it's now that the snow is gone, bonfires must be in an approved fire pit, and be careful of that. And if you're going to do any kind of burning, you need to get a burning permit from the community. Also, a note that anybody who has disabled stickers, your placards are expiring the end of April, so the town should have those available pretty soon for you to renew them. And enjoy your spring.
I'd like to send out my deepest condolences to the Bird family, Shaw family, and Matthews family, and I believe there was Mike, I forget his last name, Walser. I'd like to send out deepest condolences to those families, and you're with us in our prayers. Also, the meeting to, from Chip, the road from Chip to here is back on May the 6th, and we're doing it by virtual video. So we'll see how that goes, and hopefully out of that meeting, we can get more support letters from the Alberta team, their leadership, and as well as our leadership for the people that, what is that, Garden River? I'm trying to get both roads done. It's a shot in the dark, but we're never gonna get there if we don't take the shot in the dark. I think we can do it. So. And then our paving hopefully will commence this year again. We have work at Connie Bear Park that's starting this summer, finally coming around. And yeah, hopefully we'll have a good summer here. So thank you very much. And yeah, just slow down in the community, because we've got our crews out there that are patching cracks in the pavement and that. So just be aware with them. Thanks.
Moving on to administration, we can know if Miranda passed CPI funding.
I move the council approves the CPI funding contribution agreement with MACA for the fiscal periods of April 2024, May 2024, and June 2024, with a total funding amount of $361,500.
I'll second that.
Any comments or questions? Councilor Brett?
Yeah, just with all the contribution agreements that we are receiving, just the an interim appropriation, is this going to present any cash flow problems for the town? Typically, normally we get these, we know what the full amount is in advance, and knowing that we have a lot of summer expenditures coming up, is this going to be adequate to fill our current cash flows?
I say no.
It's definitely a concern. It does create a level of uncertainty. So depending on the timing and once we know what the final amounts would be, I can't answer that question right now, but we are aware and it does create that level of uncertainty at this point as well, because we really, a lot of this, the CPI is utilized towards the infrastructure. So this is the capital budget that's being impacted this time with this one.
Councilor Brett?
Just further note on this, and maybe a suggestion that our mayor could write to the premier and the minister of finance, just reminding them that their delays in approving their budget does have impacts on municipalities across the NWT, and that it does impact their cash flow things, and that they should be in a much better, as leaders of the NWT, showing us how things are done properly, approving their budgets in a much more appropriate manner, so that they're not, we're not faced year after year with these interim appropriations.
Do we need a motion forward for that, or can you write it down, just write it down?
I would probably prefer a motion, because I was always told you don't have a motion on that written. I got my hands slapped, so I probably prefer a motion.
Yeah, good call. That's a really good call.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the mayor write the Premier of the Northwest Territories and Minister of Finance for the Northwest Territories, indicating the impacts that interim appropriation budgeting has on communities across the NWT, and that they should get their act together.
So, sorry guys, this point of order, there's already a motion on the table, so why don't we finish the CPI one and then we'll go to that one.
Thank you, Councilor Ferguson. So we will do the vote on CPI funding. All in favor?
Kevin, yes.
Motion carried, and now on to a seconder for the other motion that was put forward.
I'll second Councilor Crevette's motion.
Is there any comments or questions for that? All in favor?
Kevin, yes.
Motion carried.
This is, yeah, this stuff, okay.
There's no proclamations. I don't believe we have any absence of council members for this meeting either. We will be going in camera, but the dates of the next council meetings, Corporate and Protective Services Standing Committee meetings, May 7th, 2024. Community and Municipal Services Standing Committee meetings, May 14th, 2024. And the regular meeting of council, 05-24 is May 21st, 2024. We do have the annual or the monthly RCMP policing report. Unfortunately, our sergeant was not able to attend. So the report is available online. There's not really any notable occurrences on here at all, right at this moment. So I need a motion to go in camera, please.
I move we go in camera, in accordance with CTV Act, S23, paragraph 3, subparagraph E.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Mayor Daniels and Councilor Campbell, are you in favor?
Yes.
So that is all in favor. We'll be going in camera now.